All right. So I'm excited. Today, what we're going to do something new for this channel that we haven't done before. We're going to do a plugin review for a WordPress plugin. So we're going to do a plugin review for the uh, Qubely block plugin, Gutenberg block plugin, and it's really, really nice. And I want to give you sort of a few perspectives. One from the perspective of a theme developer. Primarily a custom theme developer, but then also a perspective of just sort of your average user with less development experience who likes to dabble in building websites. And so we'll take a look at some of the features, but this is the page where you can download there's a free version and there's a pro version. I will be reviewing the pro version. Some of the differences between the free and the pro. Some of the blocks you get are unique to the pro version, and there's a lot of great content blocks. And you get some pre-made custom layouts. You get some with the free version. You get some really, really nice ones with the pro version. The pro version is 39 bucks for a single domain, which is 39 bucks annually, or a lifetime $299 single license. It's a little on the pricey side, but I do think, and we'll talk about this more in a little bit at the end, I do think that this is a really good sustainable plugin because it's built on top of the WordPress Gutenberg editor. So it's going to be forward compatible. So that's different than plugins like WP Bakery or Beaver Builder or Page Builder. Those are some other common page builders for WordPress. Those sort of use their own are developed on their own framework that used to work with the WordPress's classic editor, which was phased out as of WordPress 5. So all that to say, the Qubely Pro or the Qubely Gutenberg block plugin is going to be forward compatible because it sits on top of the Gutenberg editor. And then for those of you who don't know a whole lot about the Gutenberg editor, I have some videos that I'll link to in the description that talk about the Gutenberg editor, that show you how to create your own custom blocks even. Um, but it's a really great editor because it basically componentizes all of your content. It allows you to create small blocks or chunks of content that you can customize and move around any given page or post on your WordPress site. Um, and then we can take a look at the different page sections as well. Again, some of these are pro and some of these are with the free version. But they've got pre-built page sections. So what's really nice is things like if you just want to pop in a hero or a header section of your page, they've got a ton of awesome options. I mean, these look really nice. Um, Compared to a lot of your other options in Squarespace or Wix, out of the box, these are really nice and totally customizable, especially compared to a site builder like Squarespace or Wix, where those are going to be way less customizable than this. Um, so they have all kinds of sort of pre-built sections. I really like the header sections. If you ever need a team page or a team section, they've got a really nice team section. Um, Features for software or for your product. Um, Calls to action, which are important for every website. So they've got calls to action bands. So you can kind of plug and play with these ready-made sections. So that's really nice. And then they've got full-blown starter packs. Um, so the full-blown starter packs are basically, and you can see they're divided by pro um, and free versions, but they're basically full-blown templates without having to download or be stuck with the constraints of using a WordPress theme, which is really great. So they've got these split up by different types. So I really like the nonprofit one they've built, but there's different types of what they call starter packs. So again, just as a review, they've got blocks, which are just really small chunks of content, Gutenberg blocks, a good variety. Um, they've got sections, and they've got starter packs. So let's go into WordPress and let's take a look at these, and then I'll kind of talk through the pros and cons of this plugin. So let's go. I created a WordPress installation just for this video, and I'm using underscores blank theme, basically, starter theme. So it's just a totally blank theme. So let's start with just taking a look at blocks. So blocks are, again, these individual components. So these are, WordPress has a variety of built-in blocks with the Gutenberg Editor. Basically what Qubely does is it extends the library of blocks. It gives you a whole bunch of extra custom blocks. So if you click the plus, you can see the blocks are divided by, these are all the WordPress defaults, and then the Qubely blocks have their own section, which is really, and what I really like about this, which I haven't seen in any of the other plugins, is the preview. So the preview section is really nice to give you an idea of what it is they're talking about and what it's going to look like when you pop it in your page. So again, I'm not going to go over each and every one of these, but they've got a wide variety of content blocks. But I want to go over the most important content block that, for whatever reason, WordPress neglected to add in there by default, is a row block. I would have liked to see, so this is one criticism of Qubely, is I would have liked to see a container block. A container block where you can put multiple rows in the container. That doesn't exist, but the row block is really nice. So the row block gives you a variety of layouts, and you can customize them however you want. And I'll just pop in sort of what you might have for a header section, which is just one single column. And you can see all of the things you can customize, right? So you can change the dimension, which is nice. You can make it full width. You can give it margins. You can change the height, which is really important. So you can do full height if you want to do this big sort of hero section on your website, or you can give it a custom height based on pixels, ems, or percentages. You can mess with paddings and margins and content position. So all of that stuff is really, really nice. So for every row block, and I would suggest if you're going to build a page using the row block exclusively for layout, and then within the row block using the other content blocks. You can actually drop content blocks in without using a row block, but that creates problems with containers and widths and things like that. So that's really nice. You can even control things like animation. So you can fade in content, etc. So that's nice. And what I really like is the ability to simply and easily, and this was not easy in other page builder plugins like WP Bakery or Beaver Builder even, just the ability to add background. Really easily add background types. So you can add background images, you can add even gradients, which is really cool. And you can do, man, they've got all kinds of different options for the gradient builder. And you can do hero videos, background videos, which is really, really cool. So there's different options. You can drop in a background image, and then you can customize, and within each row you can add any content block. So you could add, a heading if this was a hero section, and you can, again, have all the customization options for the heading in your hero block. So there's all of these options. And the last thing I wanted to show you is they've got these shape dividers, which are kind of cool. So if you wanted to like spice up your design with some kinds of shapes, you could add that to the bottom. And customize even the color of that, however you think would look good. So let me quickly just drop in like a background image here, and I'll show you sort of how easy it is to, I've got some clouds here, to create a hero section. We could even add, for example, like a button for our call to action. So like, buy me. And we can really kind of build things quickly, and that's the beauty of Gutenberg with these blocks, right? So that's that section. We can. It kind of looks a little short to me. So what I would do is I would make the height a little taller. So let's make this like, I don't know, 600 pixels. And then I want this centered. I think we can do that. Let's see. Yeah, so we can center the content. And we can pretty easily add, and again, this is all default out of the box styling, so it doesn't look the best. But we can easily add sections at the block level. So the block editor is going to be really good for sort of intermediate folks, people who don't want to build their own themes, but they do want customization. They want to be able to customize the visual look and feel of any given page on a site. That's really nice. You can do any number of things to these very, very easily. So we can even change the color. We could even change the color. We could even change the size pretty easily. We could even choose from, they've got Google fonts built in to their editor, which is really nice. You don't have to add anything for that. And you can pretty easily build out a page sort of any custom way that you want to. Again, I would recommend, so if you wanted to like follow this up by like a feature section, I would recommend using columns for everything, or rows for everything, and then adding your content. Let's say you had a pricing block. You could add your pricing in each of these columns. And what's cool is there's all these different layouts you can choose from even. Just really, really easy to use, right? So like this is just out of the box. Obviously, it's not going to look polished out of the box, but to get the layouts, that you want out of the box like this is really, really nice. It's really easy to do. So that's sort of the blocks. Again, this is going to be good for maybe not full-blown developers. If you're a full-blown theme developer, this will be really good sort of as add-on stuff, right? So I don't really want to build a component for pricing cards. They already have that. The downside of building out a page like this is once you customize each of these elements, it's a lot of work to customize all this stuff individually, right? There's just so many options. So it can be potentially time consuming. So what you could do is you could customize these things visually, and then you may find it useful to do oh cool, you can group things. Okay, so that's cool. So okay, so does that solve the row problem? Can I add a row to this group? I still can't add a row to this group. But you can group them, and then you can also add them to your reusable blocks. And I guess, let's see if we can do this. So test reusable block. Let's see if that works. It doesn't seem like it works. So that's a downside to Qubely for sure, is that you can't, it looks like you can't make, you can't make them into reusable blocks. So reusable blocks are really, really handy for if you've got something that you've sort of styled up in Gutenberg and you want to reuse it over and over again, but you don't want to have to redo the style settings every time. You can create a reusable block and then just drop it in there and it saves all of the settings, all of the visual design settings. But it looks like you can't do that with this Qubely Pro, so that's a drawback. That's definitely a drawback. Let's try that one more time just to make sure I'm not telling you that wrong. So let's just drop in the pricing again, and let's see if we can do it. So I'm going to grab. Let's say we mess with all the settings and the visual design. I want to add this to our reusable blocks. Nope, can't do it. Okay, so that's a huge drawback. That's a big drawback that I see, and maybe they can address this in an update to the plugin. Okay, so that's at the block level. Let's take a look at the section level. So let me create a page called section, and then we can sort of just look at the different sections we have. Really, really cool. These are really, really nice. So let's just quickly build a default page out of the box with sections. So we need a header. This looks pretty modern. This looks pretty cool. Let's do that. So again, it's built using individual blocks. So it has all these options. So you could do this manually, but these are really nice sort of out of the box layouts. And what's cool is it's a WYSIWYG editor, so it's not like WP Bakery or some of the other page builders where it's not, they do have a front-end editor, but it's buggy. You have to do it in the browser. You can still stay in the back end, and it's WYSIWYG to an extent. What's cool with these pre-builts, again, they're built on Gutenberg. So again, we can anything we want to change or customize, we could, right? So we could change the size of these buttons, we could change the color, etc. I'm not going to, but I'm just showing you that you could do that. So if we look at our header section, it's going to look pretty nice right out of the box, just because there's nothing holding it back from doing so, because it's built on Gutenberg, right? So this is just a blank underscores theme, but right out of the box, you've got a really nice looking header. Very easy. We can drop in here. Let's drop in another layout. Let's see. So here's another layout. Let's see. So we've got our header, and then maybe we want to show some services. Let's see. Yeah, let's import this guy. See how that looks. And again, you may need to, like make your typography more uniform across these blocks. So it may not make sense to build a page like this. It may make sense more to use the full-blown starter pack. But I'm just kind of showing you the different sections and how they work. So we got our header section. It looks awesome. I'm super impressed. And then we've got an about section with the video pop-up. So it's so great. I mean, this is really, really nice. I basically did nothing. I just dropped in 2 pre-built sections. And you've already got a site that's looking really, really nice. So who is this for? This is really good for, again, intermediate, beginner folks, folks that don't have a ton of development experience. This is going to allow you to, again, customize, but start with some really nice designs. Again, I like this better than Squarespace because of the sheer fact that you can customize this as much or as little as you want. There's just no stopping you from customizing this is how you want to customize it. You're not stuck with any of the layouts or anything like that. So that's the sections, and then let's close it out and take a look at the starter packs. So we can import, there's a variety of starter packs, and this is where really the premiums look quite a bit better. So who is the premium for, man? The premium is for people who want to use these in lieu of purchasing themes, right? So you don't even need to buy a theme anymore because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, 12 starter packs, 12 basically unique themes to choose from that are fully customizable. Right? So one of the issues that I have with pre-built themes is that they're so restrictive usually. They usually restrict you in so many different ways, and there's so many options that are frustrating to find. You can't find where to change how a navigation bar loads, or you can't find how to change the button style or something like that. But this really gives you full control over your site, and at the same time making it sort of plug and play. So if we wanted, for example, this charity site. I actually have to build a charity site for a client. I might even consider using this as a good starting point. But to just import, the home page, and it imports the entire page. Um, One of the things I don't like about Gutenberg is that you can't make this preview WYSIWYG any wider. So like our columns look terrible in the actual editor. It's going to look great on the front end, but it doesn't look so great on the back end. It's hard to read. That's not a Qubely Pro thing. That's a WordPress thing. Um, but if you've ever experienced this, you probably had a similar feeling. But if you look, it's like I just dropped this in, and it is a full-blown website right out of the bat, right out of the gate. All of the components work. Um, they're all fully customizable. Um, they've got all of this sort of uh, WordPress media galleries, pre-built, and they're using that. So it's really nice. So I think where Qubely Pro shines is in a couple areas. To just wrap up this review, one, it's these starter packs, right? So if you're someone who build sites for clients that don't require um, super customizable functionality, but they do require, unique design. This is going to be good for you. You can change any of this design. You can change the color schemes, the fonts, the images, the layouts, everything. But you've got a really great starting point. So it does starter packs really strong. I like the sections, and I really do like the content blocks, though I think one of the things it's really missing is a container block and a way to turn these blocks into reusable blocks. That's a huge drawback. Um, but other than that, I'm really pleased. I'm going to use this. Again, my use case is that I like to build custom themes, but I'm certainly going to use these um, components as starting points for pages, things like that, where I've already got things in mind on how I would use this. Whether or not it's worth it to purchase um, the Pro version, if you need the starter packs, if you like the themes, the different themes and the different options, you definitely need the Pro version. Um, for blocks, if you're just using the blocks, I'm not sure what comes with. I think you have access to all the blocks for free. So if you're like me, um, and you would rarely use a full-blown starter pack, then the free plugin's going to be great. But if you need the starter packs, if you like to sort of have that design inspiration to start from, it's worth it. 299 bucks, you got access to 15 unique themes basically. Um, and then the sections, you got a variety of sections that are free, but then you've got a variety of sections that are paid as well, a premium. So this is the Qubely Page builder. In terms of page builders, I'm impressed. It's really nice. It's got options. It's got the row, which is huge. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to show just the developers. Let's take a look at this starter pack. Is that these are obviously like any theme out of the box responsive. So if we resize, this should be. Oh, maybe not. Let's see. Ah, oh, there we go. Yeah, these are out of the box responsive. So on a mobile device, this is all going to look really nice. You're not going to have to worry too much about customization in that from that standpoint. And then the other thing I wanted to point out for developers is I did take a look at the code, and the code is pretty nice in terms of how it's laid out. It's not too bulky. It all is sort of semantic and makes sense. So if you wanted to change anything in the back end, you could. And also, more importantly, it doesn't share any classes or syntax with the built-in WordPress Gutenberg Editor or with other CSS frameworks like Bootstrap. I've seen other plugins that use the same classes, and then when you install the plugin, it sort of breaks the visual layout of everything. That's because the classes are shared and it's not sure which CSS file to use. So, or you're using a CSS file that you didn't expect it to use. So you shouldn't have that issue um, with Qubely at all. And then we can even see sort of the way they use they're using Flexbox for their columns, which I think is a good modern way to do layout. So that's it. I'm impressed. I would highly recommend, at the very least, popping in the free version and playing around with it. And then for those of you that need a nice library of layouts, man, the pro version is worth it. So I hope you enjoyed this review. We will see you on the other side. Thanks.